All right there, guys. I am finally back. It has been requested by a couple of people to get on it and do a video finally of this vacuum. This is the Shark Vertex Pro cordless. It is very similar to the P50 that they made. Very similar in shape and size. Basically everything is the same, but they did upgrade a few things on it, which I mentioned in my first video. So I want to kind of start the video first by talking about my experience with it so far, and then do a quick run, some natural dirt, and then we will do some, you know, just some intentional dirt, so, or particles, whatever you'd like to call it. So starting from the top to the bottom, I'm gonna not even do pros versus cons, or pros first, then cons. I'm just gonna start from the top, and there'll just be a mix of pros and cons. So at the top of the machine, you'll feel a slight difference with this. I have noticed that the vacuum itself does feel a little cheaper in spots than some of the other Shark products, but overall, nothing too major. I do like the digital control. It does take a second when you turn it on. It just kind of does like a spiral thing around the numbers, I guess, where it would display the percentage of battery. So I'll show you that now. It's going to be upside down. So it's reading 60%, not 9%. I have it upside down, but just because it's easier. I'll show you the speeds here towards like the use part of the video, but really there's almost like 6 speeds in a way. Because there's 2 brush roll settings and then there's 3 suction settings, and the suction, when you're changing the suction speed or the motor speed, whatever you want to call it, the brush roll actually changes speed as well, which is different. You do have a trigger release here to be able to disconnect your hose, to use for like above floor cleaning, to get stuff in corners. I mean, you know what a hose would be used for. But I did notice that the above floor cleaning or the hose cleaning is a little weak. But anytime I've ever used it, I've also been using it on like the lowest power setting. It does pick things up, but almost like a cordless vacuum, you would expect it, a cordless vacuum too. The handle itself is like a metal material, which is nice. And there's just a clip now. It doesn't sit in like a tongue and groove sort of thing. This actually just kind of snaps in the back. I'd say it's just as secure as any other model has been, whether they've designed it one way or another in the past. The hose is a decent length. I've never really taken it that far. It's about the same length as any Shark powered lift-away would be. And honestly, that 3/4 of the machine is basically nothing from here up. You do have a wand release to be able to take this off and use it as like an extended reach for hoses, or for hose cleaning or above floor cleaning, like most vacuum cleaners would. Nothing fancy. But you would think this would be the dust cup release. It's not. This is actually your lift-away release, which pops off really easily. This unit is not that heavy. It'll snap back in. And then this is your dust cup you actually grab with your index finger and your thumb. You don't have to. You can just do one side, but I just out of habit grab with both sides. And you just pull it back towards you, and the whole bin will come off. Now, I have seen some Sharks in the past that have used that weird design in the dust cup. It looks like one of the game pieces to the game Sorry. I don't know why, but that's just what it reminds me of. And overall, like, I feel like most Sharks have dirt separation issues, but I'll show you that here in a second. On the right-hand side of the machine, if you're actually holding the handle, it would be on the right, is your battery. You just use this and pull it up. The battery is really not that heavy. You can see the little battery cells on the inside. I don't know what the voltage is. And then here is your HEPA filter. If you pull up on that, the HEPA will come out, apparently. I've never taken it out. I don't really have any interest in taking it out right now, but it stayed pretty clean. I kind of feel like, in a way, it is a bad design, mainly because this is where the exhaust air comes through, which I believe is to help cool the battery, but that means that the battery could end up getting dust and dirt in it because of the exhaust coming out this side of the machine around the battery. So probably not the best design. This is a charging illuminated charging indicator. This is only visible when you are using the charging base, and the machine itself does not go on the charging base, only the battery. When you remove it and you set it on the dock, this will illuminate. I'd say it probably takes maybe 4 or 5 hours to charge. It does seem like it takes a little bit longer than my Dyson to charge, but I would say it runs for just about the same amount of time as my Dyson V11 outsize, which is about an hour, mixing between the modes and such. Then you have the main part of the vacuum here. You have where the dirt inlet comes through. All your dirt will actually come through this portion here. And then you can see this is actually cleaner than the intake. So that is a slight concern for me. And when we come over here to the side, it says clean filters monthly. You can already see there is some dust and hair on this vacuum, which is common for sharks to have. That is my one concern about this vacuum. This filter comes out like that. And I mean, it looks like it does a pretty good job at filtering. The inside doesn't look dirty, except for that piece there. But yes, so I feel like they could do a slightly better job designing this. That's just my opinion. And that just sits in there like that, not super secure. And this will just pop on like that. You have a hose release, which you'll probably never use. I'm gonna put the bin back on the machine. Oh, well, first I guess I should show you this. There are 2 tabs on the front. This tab will actually pop the top off of the top cyclone. It just reclines backwards like that. And then the lower one, I mean, again, this is all relatively self-explanatory. The bin kind of feels like it doesn't pop on all the way, but it does. So on the power head itself, you have 6 LED headlights, 3 on each side. You have a soft roller. I'd say this power head is very similar in size to the, like I said in my previous video, the Duo Clean Powered Lift Away Speed, the smaller models. The power fins is really where I don't know if I like this vacuum all that much. So you can see this is supposed to be like an anti-hair wrap, self-cleaning brush roll, or it's supposed to prevent the brush roll from catching hair. But in the middle of the brush roll is really where it does not do the best job. And I really think it's because the blades get into that center brush or that centralized area and it tends to ride. And also the other problem with it being it just, when you're cleaning on lower power or even medium power, it just doesn't have the oomph to keep the brush roll clean, which is my complaint on some of the cheaper Dysons. I've only used this thing about 4 times and it is collecting hair here on the sides of the vacuum wheels, which I'm not a huge fan of that, because that's going to just make it so the wheels will eventually scratch the floor or just rub on the floor rather than wheeling across the floor. So I'm not a huge fan of that. And the soft roller, I like it, but it kind of reduces the cleaning lines on the vacuum when you're using it on the floor, because when you're pushing it across the floor, it tends to roll the carpet back down. It doesn't help really stand up the the carpet, and I already feel like this is limited anyway because it doesn't really have individual bristles. It has these brush strips, and it has these rubber fins. So I really feel like the grooming of the carpet is kind of inhibited when it comes to using this thing. Especially if somebody were to buy this as a full-time vacuum because they only have area rugs. So, I actually haven't even looked at the underneath side of this vacuum until now. So, I am kind of considering taking this back to the store. And you can also see a lot of the dust and dirt has built up here on the vacuum. You'll also notice that Shark did away with that easy access cleaning. You can take the brush roll off and you can take the bottom base off, but they took away that garage door that was gasketed, and I kind of liked that. So, let's show you the vacuuming speeds here. So when you turn it on, this is the low brush setting. And you can see that it automatically defaults to the medium suction setting. It already dropped to 60 or 50%. You can hear that the brush roll motor sped up. And when you turn it to low suction, the brush roll motor slowed down. So basically what I'm trying to say here is, in the high brush roll speed mode, when you cycle through the different suction settings, the brush roll speed changes too. And even in the low brush roll power setting, okay, so I just discovered something. When you have the brush roll in the high power setting for like carpets, when you increase the suction or slow the suction down, it also changes the brush roll speed. Nothing significantly slow, but it does slow it down. When you're in the bare floor setting for the brush roll, the suction speed does not affect the brush roll speed. So really, it's almost like having, I guess you can kind of have 6 different speeds. I guess I'd have to count it. Now I'm kind of confused, and I hope I didn't confuse anybody else. So you have 3 cleaning settings on bare floor because you can change the suction 3 different ways. But when you're on carpet, you've got 3 different suction settings as well. Yeah, I guess there's 6 different settings. Yeah, there's 6 different settings, but when you're on carpet, it actually will speed up the brush roll too, depending on what suction speed you're using, if that makes sense. Hopefully I didn't overly complicate things, but I probably did. And even when we just vacuumed there for a little bit, it did pick up a little fuzz ball. So I'm going to put this on just the medium power setting, which is what it defaults to. You can see it doesn't really like stand up the carpet a whole lot. And you can already see the hair riding around on the brush roll. I think it would be less prone to pulling things into the brush roll or riding the brush roll if you use the higher suction power setting. And you can already see we went from 60 to 50 to now 40%. Now it looks like it does a good job grooming, and it doesn't do bad. You know, it does not do bad at all for a cordless. But my Dyson definitely does better, and the reason why I'm comparing this to the Dyson is because we are talking about corded or cordless brush roll powered bagless vacuums that are really supposed to be considered full-size power. This is Shark's full-size power battery equivalent to a corded upright, or corded equivalent, but it's a battery powered model. You get what I'm saying. With the Dyson's kind of going away from anything corded, but this, my biggest concern is the maintenance. And it does vacuum for an hour, but that would be on probably the lowest power setting. I don't remember what the specifics are. It defaults to the medium power setting, and it defaults to carpet mode. And that's typically what I've used to clean the carpets with this, is those settings. And I think it does a decent job. It does its best on hard floors. So I want to take it to hard floors and do a quick cleaning on the hard floors. I don't feel that this cleans as deep as my Dyson V11 outsize, I will say that. So I've got it on the lowest power setting, and we'll clean around the litter box here. Now, my other complaint about this is, and I don't know if it's just because of the Duo Clean, but you can see I got very close to this little piece of hair and it doesn't pull it in. You really have to physically run things over with this vacuum. But when we look here in the light, we will see hair just loves to wrap around that center part of the brush roll. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this machine. I think it excels at bare floor cleaning, but because I'm using the Dyson cleaner head, and like I said, I'm comparing this to a cordless because this is a cordless. I feel like Dyson is their direct competitor, and Dyson has kind of mastered the cordless vacuum. However, I don't like the fact that I only use the Dyson for bare floors because I feel like it's practically impossible to use for above floor cleaning unless I'm using the powered hand tool. That is a nice bonus. It's a nice touch to have, but unfortunately here, it's just used for carpet and used for hard floor. This was really supposed to be something that I could genuinely pull out and get basically all my cleaning done above floor, hard floor, carpet. And it does do a pretty good job, but I have yet to use it for above floor cleaning except for to get like a baseboard or something like that. So it's going to be a tough decision as to whether I keep this or not because it was $375 or $400. I can't remember. I know it's listed as $399, but it was docked to like 25 bucks, and then with tax, it brought it right back up, I think. So it's definitely going to be a possibility that I take this back to the store because I'm not like over the moon with it, if that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about this, or you feel I didn't touch on something, or I spoke gibberish, please ask again in the comments and I will be sure to get back to them. Thanks for watching.